I was originally born in East Tennessee. My family moved here when I was real young, grew up in Jacksonville. When I met Linda, we moved to St. Augustine, started a family and worked here in St. Augustine for 40-something years. I was a pilot and aircraft mechanic. We had our own business there. I started a business in DeLand, Florida. I was going back and forth to DeLand every day. December 18th, 2018, at about 7:30 in the morning when I had my accident on US 1 going to DeLand, heading south. And they were doing a lot of housing constructions on the right-hand side, on the west side. A semi was delivering pipe to the construction area, and he pulled up to the workers and asked them, where do I drop this off? And they said, we don't know, and he got a little aggravated and parked the truck in the right-hand lane and got out and started arguing with them. And I came along. It was a little foggy that morning and still a little dark. And I came along, I guess Dan told me at 66 miles an hour and ran into the back of the semi parked. And I was driving a 2001 full-size Suburban, flew in the air and turned around backwards and landed on the other side of the road. Never saw it coming.
I was at the house and I got a call, and I got another call, and it was from the Daytona Beach Hospital. And the guy said to me, "Are you Linda?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And they said, "Do you know a Joe?" I said, "Yes, I do." And then they told me there's been an accident. He just said, "You need to get to the hospital as soon as you can." That's where we found Joe. And they kept him, they didn't take him to surgery till we got there. He looked at me and he said, "You need to call Dan." Well, you were laying there with your eye hanging out, your leg busted up. I mean, he was a mess. And I couldn't believe all he could say was, "Call Dan."
From my perspective, I thought it was all over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lose the house, lose the cars.
Yeah.
She was a stay-at-home mom. I was the one bringing the money in.
When the wreck happened, he lost all, he couldn't make a bill, plans to pay a bill, nothing. So my first thought was, oh my gosh, we've got a little bit of money left, but what are we going to do when it runs out? And it ran out fast.
Before I went into surgery, I told Linda to call Dan, get him on the phone, tell him what happened. That's where it started from there. I didn't talk to Dan physically until I think 2 days later, after I went through like 4 surgeries.
Yeah.
And they had to put a plate in my face, and I put my eye back in and put a shelf under the eye, and I lost that eye. I didn't see him, I don't think, till the second day. And then he had told me what had happened. He conversed with the doctors, wanted to know what was next, what the outcome of this was going to be. I mean, I can remember him going out in the hallway and talking to the doctor, more than my family did. He said, "No, you got to go to a live-in rehab." He said that, I fought him. I said, "No, I want to go home." He came back a second time, it was on a Sunday. He said, "You're going to have physical, mental, everything. You're not going to heal just on your own." Finally, I just gave up and said, "Okay, I'll go." The very next day, they were there in a van to pick me up, took me to there, and I stayed the next 3.5 months living down there. Went through physical therapy, speech therapy, and all kinds of stuff every day for 3 times a day. Well, I would say when I finally quit bucking Dan and listened and went to therapy and did what he said, I turned out where I could walk and stuff like that, but I lost one eye, so I can't be a pilot or a mechanic anymore. Don't have to worry about any money. It comes every month, and we have said between us we're going to live the rest of our years as best we can. Relief and a sigh of relief that, wow, this might work out. If I hadn't hired Mowrey Law and all his crew, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, or my wife. I can recall several times going into the office to sign papers or to chat with Dan, and I had my walker and getting in there. It was a major ordeal. Nancy behind the desk at the time. She came out of the office, came around to the front, grabbed my hand, and said, "I'm glad you're still here, Deborah." She would drive to the house for me to sign medical paperwork. And then there was Tucker, that handled the financial end of it, writing the checks, and the girls always called me back. You better get a law firm like Dan's, Mowrey Law, because if you don't, you're in trouble.
He's like a son.
He's like a
Dan's
son
like a
to us.
son.
We might have been friends before, but we're a heck of a lot closer now.
Yeah.